The way the job market is, the higher up you go, the more you mess up your work-life balance. Why? Well, the higher up you go, the more you go into intellectual work over physical work. The more you elect to go into intellectual work over physical work, the more that you're using your mind over your body. What does this mean for work-life balance, though? The mind doesn't start when you want and it doesn't stop when you want. The mind operates on its own regardless of what you want it to do. It's always running. It's 24/7 and it's on a 24/7 schedule. The body starts when you want it to start and it stops when you want it to stop. You can try, when the mind is working, you can try and ignore it. You can try and distract yourself, but you're unsuccessful. The body, that's different. If something hurts, you can easily not think about it and it kind of goes away. And what I'm trying to say is that the mind functions on its own terms and the body does not. And what this means for work is that the more intellectual work you engage in, the more that work-life balance is blurred. With physical work, which tends to be the jobs available to you without higher education, those are the jobs where you are working with your body. And your body stops working once you clock out. Sure, you're probably going to be tired for the rest of the day, but that's really it. That's really everything that comes after your shift. With intellectual work, however, when you clock out, it doesn't mean your mind stops being in work mode. Your mind might still be in the zone, or your mind might even be completely exhausted. And I'm sure you know that it's much better to be physically exhausted than mentally exhausted, because physically exhausted doesn't ruin your day. It just makes you want to sit. Being mentally exhausted ruins whatever you're doing, and it makes everything just not fun anymore. And I'm sure that we see that if you talk to somebody who has a white collar job, which is, these intellectual work, or the jobs that they get because they went to college, talk to any one of them. You'll see that a lot of their life, even when they're not on the job, revolves around their job. They're stressing about it, complaining about it, talking about it, thinking about how to do better, thinking just about a bunch of work-related stuff. And if you kind of just sit back and listen to them or see how much their work really influences their life away from work, you almost start to realize that their life is what they do. And sure, they chose to do that. They chose to go into these fields. They chose it probably because they enjoy doing it. But frankly, most people are not that lucky, and that's just what they wound up in. But regardless, I don't think anybody signed up for a life where your work is 24/7, at least up in your mind. With blue collar work, that's not the case. And I've actually, this is my experience. A lot of it I'm talking from my experience, and I'm hoping somebody's out there can relate. When you talk to somebody in blue collar work, their life isn't revolving around their job as much as a white collar person is. Once they're off the clock, they're off the clock, and the last thing they think about is work. They don't bring anything home. And also, what they do isn't their only character trait. I find that people who do work in white collar work, it's almost like their entire personality is their job description, and that's not at all what you see with blue collar work. And I think a lot of it, again, has to do with the fact that the body can stop when you want it to and the mind does not. I don't know if other people haven't noticed this, but I don't see why not, considering we all went to school, and I'm sure we all remember what it was like to get a vacation, whether that was spring break, December break, or a 3-day weekend, or snow day, or whatever it was, right? When you felt like, wow, I can finally relax. And then your teacher gave you homework that was due as soon as you came back. And what did you complain about? It's not really a vacation because I'm going to be working on it, or I'm going to be worried about it. In reality, the assignment that they gave you probably took up a fraction of the time of your vacation. And you definitely spend more time relaxing and doing a bunch of nothing than doing your homework. But it doesn't feel like that. Why doesn't it feel like that? Because even though you were only engaged in a fraction, even though your entire time only a little bit of it was engaged in that assignment, it was always in your mind. You could not watch TV without every now and then thinking about that assignment, or it popping into your head, or a deadline popping into your head and thinking it's getting closer. That's what white collar work is, because it engages the mind. And I just think that I'm not saying that blue collar work is better than white collar work, right? White collar work gives you better pay, it gives you more chances for upward mobility, it tends to be more stable, and it has a lot more social prestige, and it gives you access into a lot of circles that you wouldn't have otherwise. So that's not at all what I'm saying. But what I am saying is this: is that worth your work-life balance? To some people it is, and to some people it's a small price to pay. For some people it's a big price to pay, but they're still willing to pay it. To me, it's a price I'm not willing to pay, and I'm sure to a lot of people it is too. And I want to see if anyone else sees what I'm seeing. So let me know what you think. Stay safe, and thanks for listening.